So I'm doing everything right, but I'm not losing weight. I'm doing everything right, but I'm not losing weight. And my first question to this is, what is everything right? And the answer that I'm normally looking for when I'm in a calorie deficit, that shows that they know the equation and how that works, calories in, calories out. That's always a good thing to hear. However, if someone then says, yeah, I'm in a calorie deficit, my next question is, how do you know you're in a calorie deficit? So how do you know that you're in a calorie deficit? That'll be the second question. Third question, second question. So how do you know you're in a calorie deficit? Well, I'm tracking my calories. Okay. How have you worked out you're in a deficit? Well, I use the calculator. Okay. So you might not actually be in a calorie deficit from them. Yeah, but I'm only eating 1,000 calories, whatever. Well, consider that there might be some error involved in this. You might have to consider that if you are comparing yourself to someone else who's maybe 6 foot, etc., then there are going to be some harsh compromises sometimes. And also consider that metabolic adaptation is a real thing. Now, this is how your body adapts to lower calories. Now, it's different from starvation mode, because starvation mode is put out there and it's like, well, that means diets don't work. It's not that they don't work. It means that you might have to go harder than you plan, which I get is hard and frustrating to hear. It's not the thing you want to hear, right? So let's play it out. Like some things we know at research is it might be as high as 20%. So that means that although you're eating less, because you're in a calorie deficit, your body's adapting and you might be burning 20% fewer calories just because you're being more efficient, you're absorbing more nutrients, etc., absorbing more calories. So my point here is that even though you might calculate that you're in a calorie deficit, you might not be, because of that metabolic adaptation. So what can we do? How can we overcome that? Well, number one would be, can you keep your steps up? Have your steps gone down? Have you found yourself being a bit more tired than normal? And you've gone, I can't be bothered with the dog walk. I'm just going to, instead of the dog walk, I prefer to just stay at home, get someone else to do it. Instead of taking the stairs, you take the lift. Instead of walking to work, driving because you're a bit tired. All these things add up. This is part of that adaptation. So keeping our steps up. Have we, as we've got on the journey, gone, you know what, I'm doing all right, actually. I'm looking all right. I might just skip this workout. I might just have a bit more food on that side. And these are common things that happen. People often say, oh, why do I often get to this stage, Matt, and it gets to that point where we go doing well and then I just mess it up. I just mess it up. Why do I do that? Self-sabotage. And remember, let's touch on this a bit more, but we never just fall off the bandwagon. We actually jump off the mountain head first. We jump off of it head first. And it's normally at a point where things aren't going as well. So maybe we step on the scales. We should have lost a pound. We did. But what if tomorrow you'd have stepped on, you would have lost a pound had you kept going? And I said this in a book I wrote, but I said, what if you're just one day away from seeing the results that you want, but you gave up? And that's often that point of self-sabotage where it really comes to the fruition of you. Today, I want you to think about where you're at your journey at the moment. And maybe areas where you could work, where maybe you do think, effort, solid, I give up on that. Maybe metabolic adaptation is a thing. Actually, by acknowledging that and going, I need to increase my step count, maybe tweak my training program a little bit, maybe stop those bites, licks, and tastes. Maybe by doing that, as hard as that is, overall, it's easier because we're now seeing the results. It's quite exciting. Take home from here. Consider, right, how do you know if you're in a deficit? Just using a calculator or just eating healthy, you might not be in a deficit. As annoying as that sounds, because I get it. I think that maybe 20 years ago, if we'd have done that, we'd have lost weight. Or for one, our bodies do change. Two, portions have gone up. Food environment's changed. To the extent that barely do washing up anymore, right? We're dishwashers, tumble dryers, washing machines. Like a lot of these calorie calculators these algorithms have been the same for years. Yeah, we just don't move as much. Like not many of us do our own shopping anyway. We do online shopping. Not many of us even have to walk to work. We either walk into our living room or we go down the stairs, if that, cross the bedroom, roll out of bed. So all of a sudden become quite a big thing to get 10,000 steps, whereas before, I guarantee you'd got 10,000 steps. So maybe our expectations need to change. So that'll be a few take-homes from this. Let me know if you've got any questions on this. You'll work through it more of a one-to-one basis through. because it can be frustrating. And this, one of the reasons I'm sharing this, you might think this is quite negative because it's all about eating low calories. I'm all for sustainable, making it sustainable, but rapid fat loss can be a part of a sustainable diet long term. Some people really need to lose weight or fat for health reasons, so I'll support them with that. So one thing I want to touch on there is that when it comes to this, because like I said, it can come across as quite a negative thing, like going lower and lower and lower. But I don't want people to fall into the trap of thinking that there's something really wrong with them, because this is where they then fall into the trap of going down the route of something like blood sugar level diets, you name it, fat diets galore, metabolic XYZ. The result being is that they spend a load of money just being told what they already know. Eat healthy, I'm doing that already. Eat more hungry, I'm doing that already. Eat no carbs, I'm doing that already. Fast, I'm doing that, I've done that. And they make up these tests that we know aren't accurate. And at the end of the day, it comes down to eating nutritious foods that are going to keep you fuller for longer. Looking at the satiety index, I always talk about lots of lean proteins, vegetables, carbohydrates come from sources like potatoes are going to keep you fuller for longer. Exercise, resistance exercise, keep that NEAT up as well. Get in that calorie deficit for long enough. Get support behind you, get accountability behind you. That could just be the difference, not another test. We know from research, when they gave people a cookie cutter, one size fits all diet versus a computer generated, personalized, quote unquote, that used the algorithm and quote unquote research to pick a diet for that, there was no difference. And that pretty much says it all. I hope that helps. Any questions, just let me know. And I will see you soon. Take care.